Anyways, like just a very fast review of everything added or changed for the dev server. It's just for America the lightning stingray for the texture, which is pretty much the same as the um, British VFM5. I think it's called at 9.3, manually loaded, and the same. I think the Thailand also received the exact same vehicle, exact same statistics and reload. So just the same vehicle, America and Thailand that received a new Apache helicopter for America, the Guardian, which is gonna be the best one. Like, I think it gets better engines, and the important thing here is on the wingtips, it gets this missile approach warning system and laser directional countermeasures, which means that you have like jammers, just to put it in some kind of way, that if they launch a Maverick or a missile at you, if it's IR guided, you are gonna deflect it and it's not gonna be able to hit you. So it is the same as the Z10 and Mi-28 have already in the game. So a very, very nice upgrade. And helicopters, 3 of them are getting fire and forget missiles with very long range. For America, it's gonna be the Jagum infrared version. 8 of them, which are essentially like long range Hellfires, fire and forget. You have the epic AWSs. You can mount even more Hellfires on the outside, or you can even mount Stingers. Keep in mind that you are losing the Stingers on the wingtips because you have the missile approach warning system module and countermeasures module. So probably you are better running just 8 fire and forget and 4 Stingers to cover yourself. What else for America? A new bomber, like very heavy hitting jet bomber with a lot of explosive. This is for 3,000 pound bombs, so really fun for closer support. And apparently it's getting the rear turret, as you can see here, it's getting a radar. It's not working yet, it should be working soon, so you're probably gonna be able to track enemies with your gunner view and aim at them much easier. I don't know how good it's gonna work, but there's that. What else? A nerf to the A10 and the Sukhoi 25. They've talked about it, where you get more modules that if they damage it to you with a gunshot or a missile that explodes nearby, you are gonna be losing RWR here, for example, weapon control or guidance control, and even the HUD the HUD for the A10 or the Sukhoi as well, for all of them. So they've noticed they were just too tanky and they nerfed it. Some American vehicles as well received APKWS guided rockets, which are essentially high explosive Hydra rockets that you can point them out with your laser targeting pod. But honestly, all of them are in the same place as the Maverick missiles, so I really don't see a use for running the APKWS. Like, just equip the Mavericks or guided or fire and forget bombs. They are gonna be much more effective, honestly. And finally, just a premium Colorado. Like, in case one of you likes naval, the Colorado, it's getting just the Maryland, which is pretty much the same. Maryland has just a bit more of AA. Alright, I forgot to mention that the T-58 is also coming. There's a bit of controversy with the vehicle because right now it's sitting with a 6-round autoloader of 3.8 reload rate with hit or Hesh with 22 kilograms of explosive, but they've already mentioned in the dev server that since it's assisted loader, the reload rate might get nerfed, just depending on how good or how bad they see the T-58 performing. So very early work in progress vehicle, and the reload stat and the BR are most likely to change if I would have to guess. Yeah, the BF109, which was already shown in the devlog for Golden Eagles 3.0. I think it's just a BF109 that was intended to use in carrier operations, like aircraft carriers, and not much really, just another German destroyer. I'm not even gonna get into this. But for some of you guys that are fan of World War II, the Focke-Wulf is finally getting the X4 air-to-air missiles, which I think this is gonna be the earliest air-to-air missile. Right now it is modeled as an infrared guided missile, but I've been told it should be manual guided with your keybinds, so I don't know how useful this is gonna be, but you're gonna be able to carry this missile instead, which is kinda nice, I guess. Moving on to Russia. A lot of changes to Russia. First, we're getting finally a BMD4 for the Tech 3, which unfortunately for this one, it's gonna be sitting in like between the BMP3, I think it is, and the BMP3 and the 2S25 Sprut. Unfortunately, it's gonna be keeping the same weapon system as the BMP3, which means that you only get APDS, and worst of all, the missile doesn't get the fast reload of the BMD4s. You are getting the slow reload of the BMP3, so it's not gonna be as powerful as the premium or event BMD4, unfortunately. More, of course, the SPA that was promised for Russia top tier, which is gonna be the Bug 3 Fire and Forget radar guided missile. Well, not Fire and Forget, but it's active radar, so the own missile has a radar seeker that is gonna guide on its own. Very, very powerful missile, 70 kilometers max range. And just some stats, 30 Gs with thrust vectoring, active radar homing, and most important, 45 kilograms of explosive and 25 meters of trigger radius. So if a plane gets near this missile, it's gonna blow to smithereens. Not much for ground other than these two vehicles really. For helicopters, squadron vehicle, which is just an Mi-35 at 11.7, because this one's getting Vikir guided rocket missiles, which you already see them in the Kamovs or the Mi-28NM. Very powerful missile with proximity fuse, but I don't think it's gonna be worth it. Like run a Mi-35 on this high BR. Like if you can afford it, just get the Kamov 50 instead. I think the flight model is just gonna be much better overall. Or even run the Mi-8 Amtush because of how survivable it is, even if you are stuck with Ataka missiles. This thing has the LDRCM, so you're gonna be much more survivable to anti-airs. More buffs. Sukhoi 30 got a buff where the engine thrust got improved. I think it's around 600 kilograms of force while using afterburner per engine, so it's gonna be much more powerful in dogfight and at regaining speed, which is one of the main issues the Sukhoi 30 has right now, so quite happy for that. Yeah, the Sukhoi 25 family nerf that I've talked about already in the A10, just all of these new modules in purple or in blue, now you are gonna be able to damage them, and if they get damaged, you are gonna use, well, whatever it is, RWR on the tail, guidance weapons on the nose, whatever. More. Yeah, the Mi-28NM, it got a major weapon rework where there's a lot to talk about it. First, the Eagles, now you can carry them both on the inner and on the outer. You used to only be able to carry them on the outer pylons, now you can carry them as well on the inner, so you can run up to 16 of them, which is gonna be amazing. And the most important buff, it's getting the Lemur Fire and Forget missile, just similar to the Apache. This is like very, very heavyweight, heavy hitter, high explosive, top to down missile. If it hits a tank, it's most likely gonna overpressure it. You have around just 6 kilometers, so it's not as long range distance as the one in the Apache, but you still can do a lot of hybrid builds in this where you can run, let's say for example, 4 Lemur Fire and Forget. Sorry, not here. Here 4 Lemurs Fire and Forget in one wing, for example, and on the other one you can just run a few Igla missiles and some Vikirs, and you have the Fire and Forgets for the anti-airs, you have the Vikirs for the tanks, you have the Igla missiles for planes, whatever mix you wanna bring. You wanna bring all Vikirs and extra 4 Lemurs, you can do that as well. It's just gonna be an amazing multi-weapon platform for every kind of situation. Also paired with the LDRCM that received last update, very, very strong. And just in case someone's interested as well, a new Russian ship, rank 5 with some air-to-air, well, surface-to-air, sorry, missiles. I don't know, no one plays naval. If someone's interested, it's gonna be end of the line for the coastal fleet. But I don't really know how many people are gonna be really interested in these additions. There's a few more. For UK, we're getting the Hornets again, Hornet family. This time it's gonna be Canadian and well, one Canadian premium one, and then we're getting the Australian early version and late version of the Hornets in the tech tree, just in the middle of the tech tree behind the Phantom and behind the Sea Harrier. Right now they have the exact same ordnance, I think, of the American version. So the A early is just as the A early in the American, and the A late is a bit different because you are still an A late version, which means you have less countermeasures, but in return, being a late upgrade, you can equip it with extra flares here, BOL pods. So you can run somewhat more countermeasures, albeit they are ball pods, they are BOL, sorry, they are not standard countermeasures. But currently, I feel like they are still work in progress because the ordnance pretty much all the time it's been just copy-pasted from the American Hornets. I don't know if it's gonna receive something unique. I haven't really noticed it yet. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on them to see how good or bad they end up being. UK is also receiving a new SPAA, the Sky Saber, top tier SPAA to finally say goodbye to the ADATs, which was suffering a bit. Similar to the bug, this is active radar homing radar missile, both the CAM and the CAM extended the range, but it's slower and has less range, well, quote-unquote less range. You can apparently reach 45 kilometers, but stuff like the bug is gonna be able to reach 70 kilometers, so the distance it can travel is gonna be less in that kind of sense, and it's gonna be a slower missile, but much more agile, pulling up to 50 Gs. So kinda nice. Also, you have two launchers, both of them with 8 missiles each, so that means you can carry in total up to 32 missiles. So very disgusting. You can guide up to 16 missiles at the same time. So very interesting. If it can intercept ordnance properly, you can probably nullify a Sukhoi 30 over and over without the Sukhoi 30 being able to kill anyone in your team. I don't know how good it's gonna be against lanes given it's slower and you can notch it or multipath it. But against ordnance, hopefully if the proximity fuse gets fixed, because right now it is not working, you are gonna be able to intercept a lot. If you're interested, UK is also receiving the RAM in like rank 2. Not much to talk about it. It's just 40mm with some APHE or AP solid shot. And the Nelson premium pack, which you can already pre-order, I think, which is just a copy-paste of the Rodney that you already have in game, but with extra anti-air. So nothing really changes that much. Also receiving a tier 1 destroyer, the Saumares, if in case someone's also interested in this. I'm not gonna go over a lot of this thing, just some torpedoes, some sap and high explosive. I don't really care that much, honestly. Japan, I think, is the most important part of the update. It's receiving a lot of Thailand vehicles for ground. First, it's receiving the Super Tigris, which is the last of the F5s upgraded by Thailand. Not much to say about it, other than I think that 13.3 is just too much BR for what it has to offer. Currently, you are just stuck with 2 derbies on the wings and 2 AIM-9Ms on the wingtips, and for that you are gonna be playing 13.3, which is just too much, honestly. I think it's gonna get moved down to 13.0 or even 12.7, depending on how bad it's performing. In 13.0, there's stuff like the Gripen, the Sukhoi 27, the Kafir C10 that they simply outclass you everywhere. I think it might be interesting for ground though, because you can carry laser guided bombs on an F5 and the Maverick D, which is an improved version over what other F5s can carry, which they usually only can carry the Maverick B, which is very, very basic Maverick. So having this upgraded version with infrared seeker, it's gonna be nice to have. And of course, the interesting part of the update for Japan is gonna be Thailand, which it will receive an M163 just to support the SPA line, and then you are getting these 3 completely separate vehicles for Thailand, which are the M60 TTS. Right now, it doesn't really have much yet. It doesn't even have any ERA added armor. So it's still work in progress, because in the teaser it was shown with ERA added armor, but it's not currently available in the dev server. So very, very early work in progress. We are still getting the Stingray. It's The same as the American one I've already showcased, same round, the M33, manually loaded. Not much to say. The interesting part of Thailand is gonna be the upload, of course, with 12 OBR. It's just gonna be a better, in my opinion, Russian tank. Just let me show you real quick how good it is on mobility. Because you can still achieve the 70 kilometers on road that the T80 accomplishes. Of course, it's more heavyweight, don't get me wrong, it has its downsides, but you can still be as fast as the T80 are achieving 70 kilometers on road, 6.5 second reload, Gen 2 thermals, really good optics. But at the same time, like, yeah, you can see the acceleration. I'm struggling a bit. The T80 would have accelerated already. I know that. But the selling point for me, it's gonna be the reverse. It's very strong reverse for a Russian tank. Instead of blocking at -11, you can achieve -32 reverse. Of course, the biggest issue you have is the vertical gun handling, which is really, really bad. So this is gonna be the main struggle of the upload. I don't have much to talk about the armor currently because it literally has no armor values on it. Like the ERA plates, if you hover over them, they are completely empty. Like you have the X-ray view of the armor layout, but none of the ERA has any type of added armor values on it. So I insist, very work in progress. Luckily, it's getting Chinese round. The BTA4, it's a new round on the lower side for top tier. It's not gonna be the strongest round, but you are not gonna be stuck with 3 BM42, which was my main concern. So that's gonna be nice, and you also get the laser rangefinder. I am really, really looking forward to getting this tank. Also, Japan, this is important, is getting a new helicopter, which is the, I think it's Indonesian Mi-35, which is, it's literally just an Mi-24P. The ones we have at 9.7, like nothing else added to them, the usual Sturm and R60 loadout, but I think it's interesting that they are, in a sense, hinting Indonesia coming possibly in a near future for Japan, just to provide some help in the air. Maybe with a Sukhoi 30 or something in ground. I currently don't know what they really have in ground, but it might be nice to have that. For China, not much to say. They are just getting a VT4 in the Tech 3, same as the top tier VT4, but without the active protection system, so it's gonna be sitting at 11.7 instead. There's nothing really much to say about it. It has the exact same things, just no active protection system. Z10MA is gonna be the last helicopter to receive the new missiles, being the CM502 KG for the Chinese Fire and Forget, which is gonna be, wait, let me buy it, sorry. Wait, I cannot equip it apparently. Oh, never mind, they are here, I am just blind. It's gonna be the one with the farthest range, with 16 or even 25 kilometers if you climb and launch them from like higher altitudes, but it has the worst explosive right now, so it's probably gonna be like the spikes, where you're gonna get a lot of crits but no kills really. But you can carry like the CM Fire and Forget, 8 of them, and still carry of course the TY90s, or just run a mixture of the CM Fire and Forget and the AKD-10s. I don't think this is smart. I don't like AKD-10s, they are very slow, and I would just carry full CM 502s and just sit in the back of the farthest spawn and just lob them towards the SPAs and keep them suppressed all the time. You are also receiving a turboprop premium, which is just the King 6. I don't even know what to say about this. In case you are interested in buying it, right now it has some bombs, some napalm, some big bombs, and some torpedoes. Not much to say about them. I never played this BR, so I cannot honestly give like any kind of informed opinion about it. I'm sorry about that, just know it's coming to the game. Moving on, Italy and France pretty much receiving the exact same thing, which is the SAM PT SPAA, which is gonna be one of the most powerful SPAAs, because you are getting the Aster 30 missile, which 1500 meters per second, really, really fast missile, 50 Gs of pull, very agile, and it has 100 kilometers range. So, okay, you are never gonna be reaching 100 kilometers in the maps, but it means that in a ground battle, you're pretty much gonna be able to cover the whole area if you get a radar ping anywhere, and you're gonna be able to engage the plane, and the plane is gonna be forced to go defensive no matter where he's hiding. If not, the missile is gonna hit, it's not gonna run out of energy. Other than that, more M55s. I haven't mentioned it. There's a bunch of nations receiving them. US, Germany, I think it's another, and China, I think as well. I'm not completely sure. Just know it's another howitzer with a 203mm gun. The funny thing about this is that the high explosive round carries 23 kilograms, 4.0, very agile with 56 max kilometers in the forward, but it's just not my type of content. Just know it's coming. Same goes for the Baleno, which is another coastal boat. It's getting before the Saeta or the Freccia, one of those two, which is the end of the line. There we go. Coastal, there it is. We are getting, yeah, the Baleno between the MC 490 and the Alano. As always, in case someone's interested, no one's usually interested in this kind of stuff, so just in case. And the Tornado IDS, the MLU, the latest Tornado added to Italy, this one that is hidden in a is folded with another Tornado. It's getting a new module, which is the Mobos. I don't even know how to pronounce this, which is essentially a missile approach warning system flare dispenser. So you're gonna be able to carry more flares. Instead of 56, you're gonna be able to carry 200, and at the same time you have missile approach warning system. A minor improvement, just in case you missed it, you know it's coming. Moving on to France, for air, you are getting the F-16A OCU, thinning at 12.7. I think this is not gonna stay at this BR. I think it's going 13.0 because it is essentially an F-16A with Magic 2s, 4 of them, and or 6 AIM-9Ms. But you can literally carry 4 Magic 2s and 2 AIM-9Ms in the most inner pylon. So I think that with this missile loadout, it's gonna end up receiving the exact same end as the F-16A from the Belgian that we already had. This vehicle, when it released, it had AIM-9Ms and it was 12.7, and after one patch they realized how good it was and it got moved to 13.0. I think the OCU is gonna have the same fate. Funny thing is that you can also carry the Nord missile for air to ground, so maybe if you don't have any of the French tactic grinded, you can go for this one instead. Not much to say. The Mirage 2000 RMV in particular received a buff, where now instead of 5 hammer bombs, you can carry up to 7 hammer bombs, all of them. So small buff, you can carry 2 more bombs, which is kinda nice with how powerful they are, but this is probably just a small way to counter the new SPAAs that are gonna be even more oppressive, so it's just to keep the Mirage alive a bit more in the nowadays meta. Nothing more, honestly. And for France, a bit more, just a premium, I think it's coastal, I'm not even sure, maybe it's blue water. No, it's coastal, yeah, premium coastal and a Tech 3 coastal, which is the Intrepid and Eisner. Not much to say about them, and just know that the Glory is also coming. There's already a devlog about it if you want to check it. And almost to finish up already, Sweden is getting finally some Denmark, I think they were. Denmark were they? I kind of forgot the flag again. Oh god. 3 mosquitoes. I think it was Norway, my bad. But you're getting, yeah, 3 mosquitoes, all of them at the same PR. I'm sorry, Lucas, my bad. Not much to say about them, just they are coming. I think this is good because it kinda hints that we are gonna be getting more and more Norwegian vehicles eventually in the Tech 3 to fill some different gaps, hopefully in the closer support, which Sweden struggles a lot. And one vehicle that made me very happy to see it back again is the CV90-105 TML. Back in the day, the premium CV90 Sweden has, the CV90 XC8 that we have right now, it used to be the TML, but it was very poorly implemented and they just changed it and they completely removed the TML from the files, so now it's coming back. Some difference is that it's manually loaded, so slower reload, different round, of course, DM23 only. You have Gen 2 thermals in Commander and Gunner, so that's gonna be very nice. And the issue that made the vehicle get removed from the premium version is that this vehicle never had stabilizer, which the premium TML had. So it was an historical version, like it wasn't historical enough, so they removed it. Now it's coming back in its historical way with the stabilizer added. And finally for Israel, only one vehicle, new vehicle, which is the Sufa, the last of the F-16s Israel can have, the Block 52. It isn't getting much. The only thing it's getting new, it's the, let me see them, the Spice 250, which they are gonna be very nice. Essentially, these are like the small diameter bombs 39s, where you can carry 4 of them, but instead of being GPS guided, they are infrared guided. So you have 8 small infrared tracking bombs, which for doing closer support, they are gonna be deadly. Like, these tiny bombs, if they get a direct hit, which they are gonna do with the infrared seeker, you are 9 out of 10 times gonna kill a tank. Or if not, you are gonna be able to suppress SPAA so much with these tiny bombs. It's just gonna be intended for air to ground. Air to air is gonna be a 14.0 F-16, much more heavier, and with AMRAAM, the AMRAAM C5 version and AIM-9M, we are not getting any new Python, any new missile. One thing it has on its advantage, even if it doesn't say here, that I've noticed is that you have missile approach warning system. So that's kinda neat, but I still think that this vehicle for air-to-air combat, you are gonna struggle a lot. Israel also received for the Kafir 16, the event vehicle, the Spice 2000 bomb. They added one of them in the belly, so in case you have it. Sorry, the Spice 1000, the one with the glide wings. In case you wanna do closer support with this vehicle. And as well for the F-15 IRA-AM, in case you wanna do some closer support, you also received this Spice. Oh, there they are, Spice 2000, there we go. 5 or 6 Spice 2000 if you wanna do closer support with this. Maybe in the belly, they are infrared guided bombs, so very, very nice to have. This is everything that's coming new for the dev server that I found. I might have forgotten a few things. Just let me know in the comments anything that I might have forgotten.